Hey everybody, welcome to a very, very special edition of Ask the Anabolic Doc with Dr. Thomas O'Connor. We've never had a guest on the show before. In fact, I've never had more than 2 people on screen on my Skype adventures before. This has been kind of scary, but we finally got it figured out. We're joined today by Fakhri Mubarak, pro bodybuilder, and more renowned as an excellent contest prep coach. Has helped many, many, many people turn pro, and many pros succeed very well as pro bodybuilders. Fact, lately you've run into some health issues, and that's why we're on today with Dr. O'Connor. Dr. Tom, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm just going to kind of moderate here and there, but this is your show. I want you to talk to Fakhri and get to the bottom of this whole ordeal and see what's been going on.
Okay, this is again a landmark show. This is the second time publicly I've been involved with a person, a man coming forward. So Fakhri, God bless you, buddy. Let's review this. You're really the boss here, Fakhri, because it's about you. You know, so I know you're very open about things, which is incredible, and it's going to help people, and God bless you for that. So let's go forward. Fakhri, you and I have talked briefly. Why don't you go ahead and tell us, like, what happened? I guess start off with a couple days before the hospital, and I know I follow you on Instagram. So you've told a lot about this, but if you can just tell the story again, and we'll go through piece by piece, and then I'm going to talk about some of the medical data.
All right.
And try to help people.
So I've always been very health conscious about what I've done. I've ran blood work at least twice a year, ever since I started taking PEDs in 2000. The first time I took anything, I was 26 years old. Always ran blood work every 6 months. So I was never unhealthy. I mean, not even high kidney and liver enzymes, nothing wrong with my creatinine levels. To about a year ago. So about a year ago, I ran blood work and it was 1.7. I mean, 1.3 is high normal. So 1.7, doctor was already saying, you're a little high, but 1.7 bodybuilder, all these years of taking stuff, it's not a big deal. And then in December, I got blood work taken again. It was 4.1. At that point, I should have taken care of it and gone to the hospital. But, me being, a bodybuilder / thinking we're Superman, we think we all cure ourselves. So I started, taking I started coming off stuff. I started lowering my PEDs, living a little healthy, trying to lose weight. And around like May, actually around like April, I decided, you know what? I think it's time to finally normalize my body to get down to like, to where I was when I was younger, to when I was 26 years old. So I decided to come off of everything, clean my body out completely, not just PCTs, but just to clean me out. And I actually prepped for the blood work, like I told you, Doc. I dropped 30 pounds, came off of stuff, and about 3 weeks later, I ran blood work. And that's when my creatinine levels came back at 10.1, and my bun was 164. At that point, I said, this is not even possible. Like, I called a friend of mine, he's been through a lot of stuff, kidney transplant as well, and he was like, "Fact, that's not even possible." I called a couple of guys that we know, professional bodybuilders, and like, "Fact, you should be sick, bro. I mean, those numbers, you're not feeling anything?" I'm like, "No." So I went to the hospital, and of course, right away, they take your blood work again, and they're like, you're in critical condition. So within like an hour, I'm inside of a room, a CT unit, with a 24-hour surveillance camera on me, and they're telling me, kidney failure, kidney transplant, dialysis, talking about getting on a donors list. So like all this is like in one shot, So basically, it came up from like a year from 1.7 to 10.1. Actually, I ran blood work on Monday, and I got the results back. So right now, my creatinine levels are 7.79. And my bun is 129.
Tell us about the history of the potassium when you hit the emergency room. When you had the doctor, the cardiologist, check you from the outside.
Yeah.
When you were 10.
Yeah.
On that comprehensive metabolic panel, what was your creatinine? The potassium and the chloride, sodium.
See, that's the interesting part of this. The interesting part of this is that my chloride sodium is normal, it's 20, and my potassium is 3.4. So even though my kidneys are and what they consider renal kidney failure, my potassium is not high and my chloride is not high at all.
But your potassium when you came into the ER, what was your potassium when you hit the emergency room?
3.3.
Wow. So it was never elevated, never.
It's actually low. That's actually low.
Wow. Were you taking anything? Any binders or anything?
Nothing at all. No, actually, I got binders. The doctor gave me some binders yesterday.
Wow. Wow.
Doctor, is this a really, really unusual case?
Yeah. Well, this is like, so normally when someone goes into the GFR, it's estimated, right? I mean, faculty knows all this. It's estimated. You're going to see little e, GFR, and it says African American versus non-African American, right, faculty?
Yes, sir.
It's very interesting. And this is all kind of standardized stuff. So, and it has relationship to having muscle mass and renal function, and it's very interesting. So, a guy who's that big with that much muscle mass, I see creatinines of 1.5 to 1.7 all the time. So you have to monitor that and watch that, and you can do, as faculty knows, this is educational, this is cool stuff. When you see that, I do send men to nephrologists early, and they do a 24-hour collection, right, faculty?
Yes, sir.
So he's going to be an expert in this stuff. No, so so instead of doing an estimated glomerular filtration rate, which is an estimation of your kidney function based on a spot blood work, just one-time blood work, it's all estimated. So they do a 24. You pee into a cup, into a jug, and they can estimate it based on the creatinine they measure in the urine, and they base it. There's a formula, and they tell you truly what your function of your kidney is. So you're going to have that going on now. They're going to be doing those things for you. So yeah. The interesting piece is they when you look at your GFR, you're down to 7 now or less than 10, right?
I'm down to 9 right now.
So he's under 10. The range is equal to or greater than 60. These are just estimations, and that's the function set point, and they're all estimated. So they're going to start doing more work on you, and you're going to have nephrologists. We want to make sure you have the best nephrologist, and I know that. I know who it is because this is not my first time seeing this, but we're still talking about the presentation. Usually, when your creatinine is that high in the hospital, you're going to have some deficit on your electrolytes, mainly the potassium, and they won't dialyze anyone. I used to do this in the emergency room when I was a resident in New York City and Hartford, Connecticut. You don't do stat dialysis if your potassium's fine. So it is interesting. You know that, faculty, right? So
yeah, that's the reason why they didn't start the well, not that they didn't start, because right away what they want to do was hemodialysis, which was the catheter through the neck.
Yeah.
They recommended that right off the bat. I didn't feel like I wanted to be hooked up to a machine, because from what I know, once you get hooked up to a machine, you're hooked on it for life.
But listen, that's why we're here to talk about this. So we're still talking about what the hospital does in that setting. They usually see this from diabetics and hypertensives and people that are typically, there's genetics here, faculty. Remember, we're going to talk about this. So you see my video, you guys? Everyone see my video on protection from hypertension on anabolic steroids? I've been dealing with this. There's genetics, there's hypertension, there's too much protein, being too big. Remember, there's all these things. And then, of course, anabolic steroids. And I'm so happy people are being open about it. And it's really a conglomeration of everything on the wrong man at the wrong time for too long. Because we know men out there, no names mentioned, we know guys that are at 50 and 60 that have been living on steroids and they're powerless. And they're 60. Their kidneys are fine. And then I have 29-year-old men, 30-year-old men, and 40-year-old men with heart attacks and kidney failure. So why is that? You understand? We need to spend more research. We need to understand why is it. Now, in faculty's condition right now, you're still very early. And under God's grace, it will be interesting to see how much your GFR comes up and how your creatinine comes down. It's coming down, right? I mean, it's coming down to 10%. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say anything like, oh, if you do this and you do that, it's going to come down. You have to get a great nephrologist. And then the nephrologist, that's a kidney expert. It's an internist like me, especially. And your case, that's why I want to send you to Dr. Bombach. Dr. Andrew Bombach is Columbia University. He's the one that is worked with Dr. Lee. And I'll give you this, I'll email you all this stuff. But this is it, man. You're on live. We're live. Tomorrow morning, this is live. We're telling everyone. This is what it's got to be, guys. I want work with everyone I can, including FAC. I want to get out there. People should be monitored. Now, it's interesting. He did monitor himself. What happened? So I'm going to do something that I call clinical inertia, where your kidneys are good, you're checking, all of a sudden, boom, it dropped. What happened? So that's going to that's right. So that's going to be related to this research that I've been involved with for about 10 years. It came out of university, and it was a paper called Development of Focal Segmental Glomerulosclerosis After Anabolic Steroid Use. You're going to see, in fact, that this is probably good for you. Now, we're going to have to understand how much.
Hold on, Fac, can you hear him okay?
It froze up.
Yeah, no, you're okay, Doc. I think you need to stay in front of your microphone. Sometimes I can't hear you, but please.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, but please continue.
So, Fac, when you were, again, did you pick up, you guys? So this paper, this is what I assume you're going to end up being diagnosed with. It's going to be focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. And this is a very particular type of kidney failure, Fac, that is classically known to use with steroid users. And this is not new for me. So, and you have to understand the type of kidney failure so we could treat you properly.
Right.
Again, and then of course, and I'm going to answer a question in the end here about PEDs and being on testosterone versus steroids, and it's going to be something very unique. In fact, I want to really try to give some stuff. We're here to do things the right way. I'm not giving medical advice, but in fact, you have to, you're here, and for you to come forward and do this, you know how many lives you're going to save?
Yeah, I mean, when we spoke, even with Ron Harris, I told him it might sound corny, but it's our duty as as guys that have been doing this for a long time to to educate and to teach. And I think I've always done the right thing by everybody, not just my clients, but even myself, to get blood work. I posted a picture today of when I was 270 pounds. I'm 5'5". I put that on Instagram, and the first comment was like, you must have been unhealthy. And I was like, no, dude, actually, I was very healthy back then. Like I said, I never even had a elevated kidney enzyme. I mean, liver enzyme or anything. There was like nothing, not even my blood was thick. Wow. I would give blood every 6 months, Actually, I would give blood every 3 months, and then I would get a blood work done every 6 months. But, hey, guys, stop. But, yeah, it's crazy how it happened from basically 1 year.
But I'm telling you, so Fac, this is going to be interesting to follow this and to see what the expert nephrologist, you're going to get a kidney biopsy.
Yes.
That's what they're going to do. And they're going to tell you what type of kidney disease you have. And I'm predicting, historically, it's going to be this focal segmental, because I've seen multiple cases of it. And it's interesting that if you look at the history, it's mainly like black men.
It's Flex Wheeler. That's his thing.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And Ron, you and I have talked about it. I've seen this on a bunch of men already, including white men, Caucasian men.
Flex actually called me when I was in the hospital, and we started talking a little bit, and that's what he mentioned that he had. It was Flex had that, and so did the basketball player Alonzo Mourning.
Yep. So it's not, it's never just one thing, right, guys? It's never one thing, and it's multifactorial, Ron. So. Yeah. But again, we're not going to focus on those things. Let me ask you a question, Fac. What was your protein level on the spot when you went to the ER? What was their total protein?
The protein the protein creatine ratio?
No. Just straight protein amount in grams. Did they measure that?
In the urine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 140. Well, when I got to the hospital, it was like 278, something like that. Okay. The blood work the blood work on Monday was 149.1.
Coming down already. So the condition, again, I'm the doc, so I like to look at, the specific details. So it's called nephrotic syndrome, and technically you're under the range for nephrotic syndrome. It's 3 grams.
Okay.
So again, that's probably going to be a good marker for you. So the proteinuria, I see this, you guys, in early stages. The proteinuria is going to come down rapidly again, and it's going to be interesting. You're going to be on an ACE inhibitor, right? They put you on that already?
I'm on a hydroxyline, a blood pressure medication, and calcium acetate right now.
Okay, so they're still balancing as they bring you down the electrolytes.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And they let you leave the hospital without having dialysis because your electrolytes, mainly your potassium, is normal. You know, Jack Kevorkian kills people with potassium. So that's how we put animals to sleep. We use potassium, table salt. So if your potassium gets out of whack, even just, you know, over a certain level, that's always the dialysis. Otherwise, we don't chase BUN and creatinines.
Okay.
But we use it as an indicator. So it's amazing, fact, you're so early in this, and it's great to tell you that, you know, with God's grace, I've seen guys, I'll be honest with you, I've seen levels of 6 to 8 come down to like 4, and they're stable. So again, that's I say the names openly, Dr. Bombach and Dr. Leal Hurlitz, everyone in the world. Leal Hurlitz is a renal pathologist at Cleveland Clinic. She's the one that's her paper right there, 2009. And I talked to her. I mean, I have access to her. She's a sweetheart. And of course, you know, these doctors want to help people. They're like, they don't give a shit that people are doing. And that stuff has to end with doctors. You know, that's what I'm doing with that.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys, because like you check into a hospital, and if you're a crackhead, you know, you get better care than if you say you take steroids, because it's like my whole discharge was like admitted steroid user, this steroid user, this steroid. I'm like, dude, if I was a crackhead, would you say that? Like in my discharge papers?
Nope.
No. So he got a car accident. Take steroids. Doctors just don't know how to treat people, and that's one of the reasons why I actually know. They wanted to do dialysis and a whole bunch of other stuff on me, but I knew, you know, there was damage done, and I knew why the damage was done. I also had, you know, guys, you have to remember one thing too. Like, I put myself in a really bad catabolic state because 3 weeks before the blood work, I dropped 30 pounds purposely. I came off of everything cold turkey purposely. You know, I stopped training for 3 weeks purposely because I had to drop weight. If I train, eat, or I do anything, I put on muscle. I mean, it's obvious. I don't have the best genetics in the world, but I have good genetics. You know, and so being in the catabolic state, of course, my creatinine levels went up, my bun went up, you know, all this shit is going on in my body, and that's what the doctors really didn't understand. So when I tried to tell them that, they were like, sir, you're not in a position to even talk. You're in a CC unit. I'm like, first of all, don't talk to me like a child. I know myself.
So too bad.
So
Actually, the reason why your
I'm giving them
potassium
signs, and they're talking back to me, and I'm like, all right, this isn't really working right now.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. Why did you... Was your heart okay? Was there a reason why you dropped all that weight? Why'd you do that?
I just, you know, it came a point in time. I'll tell you the truth. When I got back from Florida, I decided to compete. And, you know, I've been saying I was going to compete for a while. And this time I had everything planned out. I came to New York, moved back to New York. I settled myself back down. I got rid of some stresses, and I was able to compete. You know, my body was still making good changes enough to, you know, walk around 245, 250 in good shape at 5'5". So, you know, coming in at 212 wasn't going to be an issue at all because it's basically I had to take less stuff to come in at 212. It was going to be a lot easier. I started taking my regular cycles and, you know, a little lower, 500 milligrams of test, you know, 600 milligrams of EQ, 4 IUs of GH, 50 milligrams of Anabar. And then I started putting in some hollow testings, you know, and I started dieting. I started doing some cardio, and I'm like, wait a minute, my body's not changing. I'm like, this can't be possible because, like, you know, my body changes fast. Like, I know myself. I've been doing this for a long time, you know. So I started taking a little bit more. My body's not changing. I started taking a little bit more. My body's not changing. And I said, you know, something's fucking not right. Something's just not right. My body's not metabolizing things right. Something's just not right. So I went to the doctors, and that's when we ran the blood work. And it came back at 4.1. That was in December. And Dr. Richard Ratuti, he's from the Bronx, real good doctor, real cool guy. You know, he said, maybe your body's not metabolizing stuff, you know, and I'm like, it can't be, that's impossible. So that's when we ran the blood work, and it came back. And I was like, shit, you're right. You know, my body's built up with so much toxins that no matter what I'm taking, you know, and I wasn't going to start taking 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 milligrams of anything at that point. So that's when I decided, you know, let me just get in shape. And I still wasn't getting in shape. I still wasn't, you know, I still wasn't losing my body fat. I still wasn't, you know, my body wasn't coming down. And I said, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm done. I'm not gonna take anything because why compete? Why take anything? It doesn't even make sense at my age anymore. And then I went to the cardiologist and we set up blood work, and that was in May, and that's when I ran the blood work. Came back at 10.1.
So did you have ankle swelling?
No, Doc. On the other day I benched 315 for 19 reps, and I'm a kidney failure. You know, it's like I have.
Were you taking creatine? Are you taking creatinine monohydrate? Maybe something that.
No.
You're taking no supplements.
Well, yeah, I'm taking supplements, but not with creatine. I'm taking, and I know the supplements I'm taking because they're my supplements, they're my own line. I have HPLC testing on everything,
But if guys use creatine monohydrate, it's going to falsely elevate. I mean,
yes.
That would be a great example. Like, holy shit, Fak, you're actually okay.
It's too much creatine.
Yeah, it's just the labs are wrong because the analyzing machine is picking up. It's not actually because of kidney failure.
No, the only side effects I do have, and I'll be honest with you, over the last couple of years, I've been a little fatigued. Like, for example, if I'm working out or if I'm sparring, like, I don't get fatigued. But if I'm carrying like bags from like the car to my, to my place, I'll get tired. If I carry like a box, I'll get tired. So like those little things were making me think a lot. And also, when you have kidney problems, you start thinking a little disorientated, and that's what was going on in my mind. But everybody knows I work really hard. Everybody works, I work like a workhorse, and I was attributing that to my work. But at the end of the day, when I ran blood work, it was just my body was just breaking down, and my kidneys were getting messed up.
So what's the next step? What is your next plan?
So, all right. Well, according to the kidney doctor, I should be on going to kidney classes, get on the transplant list, and and think about putting a fish hook thing in my arm for kidney dialysis. Wow. That was the recommendation yesterday. No disrespect, Doc, if you're listening to this. I don't want to disrespect authority. Wow. But I don't feel sick. I just do not feel sick. I just don't.
Here's the thing. So you're gonna get a second opinion by my guy, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I went to see Dr. Kunis. She's in Manhattan.
What's that?
I went to see Dr. Kunis. She's in Manhattan. She works at Columbia Presbyterian. She's pretty good too. She's worked with a few of my friends that I have gone through this over the last decade or so. So she's writing her report, and she'll get back to me today.
That's it. And again, it's going to be interesting to see where it ends up. Where your levels end up and what they want to do.
I mean, I've changed my 100%. I mean, diet, everything has changed like big time.
Wow. I mean, so they want you on no protein right now.
They want 80 grams of protein. That's like eggs and bacon for me. It's like.
And they want you getting small. I mean, again, we'll have to do another show because it's going to be interesting that once that doctor does a biopsy, do you end up having FSGS? Right. And then from that point, there are expert recommendations that are actually different than if you didn't have it. The therapeutic approach in the post period, once you're diagnosed, is going to be different. I mean, there'll be ACE inhibitors, blood pressure control. They're going to want you, And let me tell you one thing, Fax. I know you asked a question to me, on the email. So if you want to talk about supplements, testosterone itself is not toxic. It's not renal toxic. And we don't know if the steroids themselves are toxic, like Tren and too much equipoise. But is it the secondary effects of steroids causing hypertension and too much protein? And then once you get all this muscle mass, I'm telling you, Fact. Well, I want to spread the word with you. This is the stuff. This is the paper. Actually, in the second page of the paper out of Columbia, look at this. See him? Look at him.
Oh yeah.
That was 2009, guys. 2010. So it's like, and I can't say the name who that was. He's blacked out. Probably a friend of yours, Fact.
Probably.
Yeah, it actually is.
I mean,
you know that for zinc anywhere.
I know the exact study you're talking about. It actually is a friend of mine. Yeah.
So all I want to do, Fact, of course, and I pray to God that you're going to be okay and you're going to live to be an old man. 110, like with me, we're going to live 100. You're going to love, kick ass, and laugh your ass off, and we're going to have fun. We got to fucking spread the word. Guys have to understand the truth is I love people on steroids, right? I love them. I'm a power lifter. I'm not like you guys, but I benched 505 at 198, and I'm still benching big. Although I have poodles and I ride mountain bikes and drink beer now. So you know what, you guys? I'm trying to work on the best I can to stop the discrimination by doctors. Like you said, I'm trying to work on that, and it's working well. I put a book out. We have to get people monitored, and then people have to understand the fact. You know this. If you're gonna, and you say this, if you're gonna play, you may pay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all like, but how? Who will pay? How do you pay? Who pays? In what definition is paying? Kidney failure, liver failure, heart disease. Can you do something to strive? Can you do something as expert?
You're breaking up, Doc. So I'm going to take that opportunity while your microphone clears. Fakhri, there were people posting, and I don't know if this is a rumor, so I want you to clear it up. They were saying that you had high blood pressure for years, and you had medication prescribed, but you weren't taking it. Is that true or not?
Yeah, that's true, Ron. I've had high blood pressure for a long time, and you know, if you ask, I'm what you call a ticking time bomb. Okay. You know, high blood pressure, 100 pounds overweight, you know, heavy lifting, you know, not taking care of myself, you know, physically because of everything I do, you know, so all that, like, you know, like Dr. Connor said, you know, it's a combination of things. My high blood pressure has really screwed me up. That's one thing I definitely take fault for not taking care of. Other than that, like I said, I had no medical conditions at all. But the high blood pressure, you know, it was real high. It was always like 170 over 110. Yeah. You know, it was always really, really high. I mean, how can it not be? You know, you're walking around 250, 260, 270, 240, you're 5'5". Right. With a lot of stress and everything else. So I definitely had high blood pressure, and I should have been taking my meds. My blood pressure right now, as of today, is 136 over 76 with my meds. So I would have been normal all these years, but it was.
So what's the fact? Ron, in fact, I was going to go into some of the meds, and that's, you know, Ron's like my co-doctor here. That's a great, what a question. So what exactly? So what happens is never just one thing. So probably you're hypertensive for years. Yeah. You have some. There may be some genetics, but you're not alone. There's some genetics playing a role. You're big. You're massive. You're on steroids on and off. There are other agents, and the protein intake. And there's another thing. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents play a role here too, guys. So what I see commonly from the histories on these men that even regular doctors don't know, of course anyone's going to know, untreated hypertension for years is going to put anyone into kidney demise. Well, the number one cause of kidney failure in this country is diabetes and hypertension for anyone. You're not a diabetic. I'm sure you're not a diabetic.
No, my blood sugars are perfect.
So there's the thing. So again, if we, Ron, thank you. Yeah. If we could send every IFBB pro, every person that wants to be a pro, Fakhri, with you and me out there, we're big names in the world, buddy. Let's go. Everyone should be monitored, and not just monitored, but they should really have an understanding, not just bro science, guys. It's got to be like, you have to look at the creatinine clearance. They have to look at hypertension. If you're on steroids and you're going to be big, powerlifting or bodybuilding, what if you did control imagine you did control your blood pressure? I'm just thinking. Again, this is all ethical. This is all loving and caring. What if you were? I'm not giving a blessing on steroids, but what if you did this, and during the period that you're doing something, you were protected? So, Fakhri, if you treated your blood pressure, and by the way, let no one tell you that no one's going to be able to look backward in crystal ball and tell you you did this, you did. No one's going to. And don't do that. It is. You're not the first man. But if you treat your blood pressure, would your kidneys have been protected?
I mean, I think so, because nothing else has affected it. You know, I mean, it wasn't 500 grams of protein per day for like the last 28 years. It wasn't, 4, 5, 6,000 calories per day. You know, the blood pressure was always the main factor.
Listen to this though. It's that on top of the steroids. They have direct effects on the nephron, and different types. Too much protein, being too big, and then too much Motrin.
Agree 100%, Doc.
That's it. I have to tell people this. So again, if people are 20 years old, 23, 25, 35, and they're going into this, Fakhri, I know you agree with me, they have to understand what could happen. But what if they go into it to be a pro or not a pro for bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, just to walk around and feel good, to be big and strong? If you control these things.
I mean, I did for 18 years, you know, I mean, on and off, but I mean, I was
not the blood pressure. And then it's the next, I mean, so I'm just trying to have closure here. I'm trying to get, what can you do? People are going to do steroids. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying they're going to do steroids. They shouldn't do steroids. Don't do steroids. Okay. Beyond that, and I'm not saying there's a, doc, people come to me, doc, is there a right way? I didn't do it the right way. I can't say that. You guys, the three of us, have been around this world for many decades. Together, we have what, almost 60 years of collective?
Over 100, probably.
100, right? Yeah. And then you got other guys out there. We're getting, I mean, Ron and I are having a great time, Fakhri. It's awesome you're with us. We could have you on the show. I mean, checking in every couple of months. This is freaking phenomenal. People want to know what's going on and how they can protect. And the answer is, yeah, if you worry about this at all, don't ever do steroids ever, right, Fakhri? Right?
I mean, I you know, it's funny because the doctor was telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, it's like live by the sword, die by the sword. If you're gonna do something, you might as well know the results of it. And I knew, you know, we have a lot of friends. We all have a lot of friends that have had problems, you know, and I always knew there was gonna be some type of problem somewhere, somehow. But I did my best to, and I really, really did my best to monitor myself, you know. So this came from like literally from one blood work to another, 1.7 to 4.1, you know. So yeah, I mean, be aware of what you're gonna do. I mean, you know, it's not like taking candy or you know, or injecting vitamin B12. You know, you guys are doing drugs that are manipulating and changing your bodies. You know, you're turning, you know, we're turning ourselves into cartoon figures.
Yes.
And we have to monitor ourselves. I mean, we have to. You just have to. Look what happened to me.
But doctor, I have to ask, he had blood work done on a regular basis.
Huh?
I would think that the damage that was being done to his kidneys, it happened over many years. So why did it take so long to manifest in the blood work?
Wow. Ron, you always ask the best questions. Yeah. We are going to hear an answer by the nephrologist on that once we get a diagnosis after the biopsy.
Okay.
We're not going to be able to say, if I can hypothesize, remember my camel with the straws on the back.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're not going to see this gradual step-by-step increase in, for an example, creatinine level. In his case, it did go up a little bit, and then it jumped up. So at that point, he did cross over a line where the unit function, his kidney function, crossed a line and just crashed. And that's the point. So how can we determine truly if his kidney function was going up, you know, he's at 70%, 60, 50, it wasn't working. With creatinine clearances and with estimated GFRs, we may not be able to predict that, right? We're not going to, but I'll bet you, if we did protein evaluation in your urine, I'll bet you, and you probably didn't, my full assessment includes a urinalysis, and sometimes I do a microalbumin creatinine ratio. You see that? Again, this is real stuff, guys. I do what I do. I have test top credits. Urine for the white the spot.
Doc, you got to center up on your mic or something.
Oh, is it up?
There you go. Now we're good.
I think when it goes too long, it starts to phase out. The thing is, if we evaluate for diabetics, we want to pick up their kidney function before the creatinine starts to go up, right? So because I saw a diabetic this morning, I actually have some regular people left in the practice. I saw a 70 2-year-old diabetic today that his kidney function, his serum kidney function is normal. His hemoglobin A1C is good. He's on insulin. He's doing well. His and creatinine ratio is up to 600. So he's over 30. So he's now in a danger zone, and I'm sending him. I probably
Losing you again, Doc. Say a few words, Doc, if you would.
Are we back?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. It's the gods trying. You know, it's. I can't say. It's the political people don't want me to give my information, right?
Yeah.
They don't want me to give the info. So if we check urine analysis for early proteinuria, we would have caught it. Again, and I'm not. And your doctors are listening. They would say, "Yeah, sure, of course." I mean, yeah, good luck. See you later. I mean, good luck. See you later. I mean,
but on what you're saying, Doc, as far as like the protein in the urine, and this is a fantasy. A lot of people think when the doctor tells them they're peeing too much protein, it's that, oh, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm drinking a lot of protein. I mean, a lot of.
God.
I'm supposed to taste protein. No, I'm serious, Doc.
I hear this.
Every bodybuilder says, oh, that's normal because I eat so much protein. That has to be addressed. You should address that point.
Fact, brilliant. This is it. This show has to be the biggest show in the world. Fact, I have guys coming in and I see gross proteinuria, and they go, Doc, I take a lot of protein. Of course. I go, holy shit, no.
Right.
No, but here's another thing. While I'm on that, so we see that, and then they back off, and it corrects. I see a lot of guys taking too much, Motrin, not steroidal.
Yes.
And that destroys the kidney, guys.
Yes.
And hypertension. It's all these basic things, that you'll see men saying, look, I'm 55 and I'm on all these steroids, and we know some guys that have just come back to make comebacks, and they're my age. How are his kidneys? I mean, it's like, it's variable. There's a variability on this, So it's going to be interesting to see what the true diagnosis. And I pray to God that there's something else going on, and your creatinine clearance is going to go, your creatine's going to go right back down.
I hope so. I mean, like I said, I'm not feeling any type of side effect. I actually feel better, like over the last couple of weeks that I've been home, because I've been resting a little bit more, and it shows my numbers are getting better. So I don't know. I mean, it's a weird thing because I shouldn't even be walking around according to some people.
It's true though. It's really true though. It's crazy. But another thing is, men like you are so functional and so strong and so used to dealing with pain that guys walk around you have a high tolerance for pain, I guess. I don't know. I mean, suffering, fatigue, who knows?
Yeah, Doctor, while we're on that subject, would you recommend that guys who are using steroids and probably do have a little elevated blood pressure shouldn't be using things like Motrin and ibuprofen at all?
Wow, Ron, these are the questions. There's no studies on. We have to just go by the gut and by basic anecdotal science. Yes, you have to be careful. People that have kidney function failure already, they're forbidden to take too much protein and forbidden to take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Right there, fact right there. They've told him this stuff already. Yeah. Now, if this turn, it's probably going to be true, fact. You're probably going to have FSGS. Hopefully I'm praying to God, hopefully your creatinine will come down to, I'm just going to make a number up, 4, 5. And you're going to stay out of getting that fistula and dialysis for years. But I think in the end, you probably will get a transplant years down the road, but we'll see. But because I have patients just like you, and I'm just basing it just on what I've seen. But
yeah, that's what every doctor has said. Every doctor,
we are doctors, and we have. This is what we see. Although I see it in bodybuilders that have. So they're going to ask you to shrink. In fact, you're going to have to shrink that beautiful body down and deal with that. So how do you feel about losing all that your image?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'll come down to men's physique.
I love it.
Nah, just kidding.
Well, I want to address that because I'm the meathead.
200 pound natural, man. I'm 200 pound natural. I'm not going to shrink.
But you've developed this incredible physique and this image. So many men tell me that they're suffering. They can't take it.
No, dog. I'll be honest with you, man. Like everyone who I spoke to, everybody who I spoke to, told me the same thing. Listen, man. You know, you're gonna be depressed. You know, you could call me, let me know what's going on. You know, you're not gonna be happy by yourself. I've never been addicted to steroids. I was successful before bodybuilding. I've been successful during bodybuilding. I've been successful after bodybuilding. I've been an athlete all my life. I competed 6 times my whole entire life. 6 times. You know, I never did it to compete. I never did it to look good for anybody. I did it for myself. So no, there is no addiction. There is no mental addiction, and I'm lucky. I'm not. I do have a very addictive personality to certain things, you know. But believe it or not, like I could deal with myself, and I could deal with. I wanted to lose weight, doc. That's why I came off. I said, listen, I'm going to drop naturally. This wasn't a decision that, you know, the doctor told me you need to drop weight or you're going to die. This was something that I decided to do on my own, and I prepped for this blood work, you know. So it's like it's crazy, but there's nothing psychologically addicted to me and steroid use.
But fact, I do have to deal with a huge component of that.
Yeah,
with men, with mine, and I do. So yeah. I address the body dysmorphia directly. I really do, because most men, it's tough for them. So but I do, and physicians, I ask them. This show fact is for physicians.
Right.
We have physicians that have called me and showed me, Tom, your show is excellent, thank you. And the truth is, you know, we have to understand that there's millions of people, and they're not sick people with straight up body dysmorphia. You know, but there is some body dysmorphia there.
Yeah, of course.
But it's kind of this interesting change in our culture for what is really when we support and we reward good looks and bodies like Hollywood is putting out. Who the hell's sick?
Yeah, Phil, for her video today, I believe it was just today or yesterday, and he said, why do we work out? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? And he goes, it's crazy because I don't even know what I look like until I saw a picture of myself. And I'm the same way. Like, I just put up that picture today. I was like, holy shit, that was me. You know, but no, I mean, you know, I love being a bodybuilder. Like, I'll always be a bodybuilder. It's something I love. I personally love myself. But I know what I've done, and I know what I accomplished. I know what I could have done. So
wow.
I'm happy, you know. I'm happy now, you know, if we could just start helping people and educate people, because I think, you know, I'm not famous. I'm not somebody, you know, that people look up to and ask for autographs and stuff. But I've done enough in this industry to gain enough respect. Hopefully I can help everybody, you know, stay healthy and conscious about their health.
Well, that's what we're going to do. And that's a lot of guys, you know, don't want to come forward. They suffer quietly. But there is a video of a man on my website that openly discussed this exact case. You saw that one, Joe?
Yes.
So, and he's doing really well right now. And so, you know, we got to open it up. We got to talk about it. I mean, I want everyone to get monitored. I love being the first doc, the Anabolic Doc. I got chutzpah and balls, you know, because because God damn it, this is now 2018. We have to get progressive. I mean, we have to take care of people. These are not Major League Baseball cheaters. You know, there's millions of people walking around. You know, I say the same stuff. Ron, I know Ron agrees with me. We got to get out there. We got to get people to understand. And the truth is, if we have ways to protect people, we should be protecting them.
Yeah. I mean, it's this show, and you doing what you do, doctor, and having this show, and the fact that other doctors are watching this and hopefully referring their other physician friends to watch it. It's like what Fakhri was talking about. We need to stop, you know, that stigma against steroid use. Because like you said, a crackhead, a heroin addict can walk into an ER and they're stumbling over each other. Oh my God, you poor thing. But a guy walks in there and he's muscular, and immediately it's the dirty looks and you know.
Isn't it amazing? You know, but you know what it really is? I mean, I'd love to just, because I like the controversy. It's just jealousy. They're just envious and jealous. So you should suffer. The crackhead looks horrible. Someone who has AIDS, I've taken care of AIDS people. You know, you feel sorry for an AIDS patient because they're pathetic, and they're sick, and they smell terrible, and they look. No. But I still, we're physicians. We care for those people. And then a guy like this guy walks in, and who do you think? You should suffer. I mean, look, we're human. We're all human beings. Doctors are people too.
Right.
And they do get jealous. They do have envy. And this is, I think, the base and the root of what happens. And I'm trying to teach caregivers, don't hate, because this man could be suffering. And indeed, the case when this guy, is walking in an ER, he's suffering. You're not in there for fun. You're in there because your kidneys aren't working.
Yeah.
Don't be a douchebag to this guy.
I mean, doctors are not supposed to judge. They're supposed to treat. Bottom line, right?
That's it. God damn it. You took an oath to do it. Don't judge. Just because look at him. How should he look that way? What does he do? You're just jealous, honey, or man, sir. I mean, but I'm a controversial guy because, like, I'm, one of them where I've been a fan of some of the guys, and now I get to take care of people that I've really looked up to, and I want to provide them ethical care so they don't get hurt any further. Yeah. And things are politically correct for me, man. I have a great life. Everyone knows I'm Florida. I got a license in Florida. I got a license in Connecticut. Everyone knows the states. They know who I'm here. Everyone knows I'm here because it's a time to heal. And that's, Ron, I always put my word out there because we got to put the word out.
Hey, what's funny? You were talking about...
He's grabbing everything.
You were talking about Fakhri having a high pain tolerance. You couldn't see it on the screen, but put that form in front of your face so we can read it. It says...
What is it? Pain, agony, sorrow.
Oh, my God. Wow. That is insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got to get the tattoos done a little bit, I got that in, I actually got that in, I was homeless in 2008. Wow. And I worked my way up to, to where I am right now. And I said to myself, once I reach a certain goal, I'll get the tattoos. And that's the only tattoos I have on my body.
Wow. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, God bless you, buddy. So, we're going to keep moving on this, Ron. I think, in Fakhri, we could redo it again, maybe after you get some information.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see because it sounds like he's already making really good progress. This could be really one of those happier outcomes than what we normally.
I think
get.
so. And again, I'm not your doctor, and obviously I don't even need to say that. It's not a joke, but like you walked out. They wanted to put a fistula in you. That's not a joke. Those fistulas. I mean, first of all, that's a triple lumen. That's a triple lumen catheter. Okay, into your neck, and then you get a surgeon, and they put this gnarly, they have to put this fistula on, and then you're going to basically be dialyzed 3 times a week until you get a transplant. Now, it will be interesting to see how long this man stays away from that with good medical care and with the grace of God.
Yeah, I'm doing everything I can. I've totally my life is completely 180 degrees. I mean, I totally switched everything around. I mean, there's no going back for me now. I'm happy now, and I feel good, man. I'm telling you,
you look good. You look good. You look.
You don't look like someone who needs a kidney transplant.
It's amazing. It's just amazing to me. But that disparity between the potassium and the GFR, I can't wait to get an answer from the nephrologist.
The number right there.
Yep.
See him.
Medical marvel.
Yeah, so, but that it goes in the other direction too, I assume. But I want to hear. I'm an internist. I'm not a board certified nephrologist. I want to hear from the nephrology people. Like, what do we do? What condition? Like, how did that happen? What can we do? And obviously for you, Fakhri, you're going to go through this and you're going to have great care in New York City. Columbia, baby. That's the guy. That's where I was going to send you.
Yeah,
I'm sending you to one of this guy's colleagues.
Yeah, I'll go see him. I'll definitely go see the doctor too.
Go see her first, and then when you go, his name is Andrew Bombach. And then he's the guy that he's my go-to guy in the Northeast for the steroid, for this related condition, which is FSGS. And he's he's a sweetheart. He doesn't pass judgment. And he actually, I have patients that go back to other states, and he works with them with emails and with me. It's cool, man. He's a really cool guy. And this guy was going to be on dialysis. And this guy, I'm knocking on wood for you, buddy. I'm knocking on wood for you. This guy's not on. This guy's doing good, man. This guy's hanging in. His creatinine's about 4, though. I'll do a video on him soon.
I heard that Arnold Schwarzenegger's creatinine has been at 3. Like for the last 30 years, and he's never had any type of kidney problems.
I have patients that have creatinines of 3.
Yeah,
and they've been stable for years.
Yeah, and some people go to kidney. Some people fail at 3, right?
telling you, this is all based on other aspects and other renal physiological parameters. There's a lot of things going on here. That's why we need the kidney guys. You know, we need those experts. That's all they do. This is a very academic case, though, guy. You know that. This is really. But oh God! So what a great show.
So Fakhri, where can people, if you're going to post updates as to what's going on, where can people sort of keep up to date with you? What social media could they check?
I mean, I'm gonna be posting on Instagram. You know, like I think it's really important to educate, man. I mean, it's something that we gotta all do, man. I mean, we've been through this. I've done everything in the world from from 1 to 100 in bodybuilding, everything, man. Bodybuilder, NPC, IFBB, company owner, trainer, personal trainer, everything I've done, and I think I'm able to help people in a lot of different ways. I'm gonna be posting on Instagram. You know, me and Doc are gonna stay in touch.
It's Fakhri Mubarak. It's the full name, no spaces. Fakhri Mubarak _CEO _IFBB Pro.
Yes, sir.
Usually, if you do FHC, it fills in the rest, but that's the whole thing. Fakhri Mubarak _CEO _IFBB Pro. And I got to make sure I mention the doctor's websites. Usually, I throw that out at the beginning. Metabolicdoc.com, Anabolicdoc.com. And what's your YouTube channel, doctor?
It's Anabolic Doc / Anabolic Recovery.
I'll get that one of these days. I'll remember.
But I mean, if you put Anabolic Doc in there, you're going to see me and you and Ron, and there's so much stuff in there. So, but if you go to my website, you can go to social media. I have 2 YouTube channels: Metabolic Doc, which is TRT and more men's health, and then the Anabolic Doc is, that's my after hours approach. That's the anabolic. And Fakhri, I'm doing this, and I want to work with people. I think there's ways to work all around the world, because just getting your labs done obviously is not enough, but it's certainly a good starting point. But you need to have the real support. And I'm training more internists under my wing, mainly in Florida, how to understand the steroid user and how to care for that patient safely, legally, ethically. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. All right.
What we need. Yeah, that's what we need.
We're going to mark this down as to be continued. This is not the
Awesome.
end. We're going to pick this up at some point in the future soon. Fakhri, I want to thank you so much for sharing all this, for being open. Your experience, it's only going to help people. It's probably going to end up saving some lives. We hope. That's what the show's all about. The doctor's trying to help people stay alive, stay healthy. Just because we choose to do certain things to look and perform a certain way, it doesn't mean we can't try to be healthy at the same time, try to live long life like everybody else and enjoy everything that we want to enjoy in life. So thank you again, Fakh. Dr. O'Connor, as always, thank you for doing what you do. It's God's work you're doing. If I can say it, I'm going to say it. So
thank you, Doc. Thank you, Ron.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back next week with regular viewer questions and all that. But this has been a very special episode that I'm very glad we were able to bring you. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.